very good evening to all of you. Actually, it feels so nice to be talking on the mic. It's been quite some time since I did this, so thank you for this opportunity. Ever since my father became the president, I always used to ask him why nothing for the children. There is something called Innovi and there is something called Rotary. Why nothing for children? And finally, here we have the Annettes Club, but I am a little too old now. I have a phobia after seeing all these people who are much younger than me. You could have done it a little bit earlier, but it's okay.
No, actually, your father was opposing it.
Okay. So I'm totally excited.
Annette is Annette, irrespective of the age.
Yeah, you will always be an Annette, just like Shasta.
With all my grey hair. Anyway, to begin with, I'd like to say a few words about myself and what I would do, what I would want to do for this Annettes Club. And I, like every other student, after finishing 12th standard, I wanted to take up engineering like all my other friends did. But I don't know what my father saw in me. He stood on one foot and something told him I cannot pull it off as an engineer. So he said I should do something offbeat, and that's how this very new course, back then 2005, nobody knew about BSc Electronic Media. It was something very offbeat. Not many opted for it, but it was very difficult to get a seat in MOP Western College, and I don't know how I got it. And anyway, once I joined, my entire life changed. Actually, going to college was fun. Not one day did I feel that I was going to college. It was like going, having fun. And I got to learn a lot of things. That's how I became an RJ actually. I owe it all to my college. We had a community radio station in college. And I just used to go anchor, sing songs. And that's when Kumudam Tamil magazine, a very popular magazine, they were launching a radio station. And somebody heard me and they called me for an audition. And again, while I was doing my second year, I got a job as a radio jockey and I started working with AHA-FM. I did several shows. I actually worked for almost 5 years there. But the best part of working in AHA-FM was I had this privilege of being the first RJ. AHA-FM was the first radio station to bring in a complete Hindi show in Chennai city. Private station. All India Radio had a show that played Hindi songs, but this was the first show. I should thank my boss, Mr. Varadarajan, for letting me do it. It was a big challenge, it was a big risk doing a Hindi show in a city like Chennai. And that show was so popular. So many people in our club used to tell me every day, 8 to 9, they used to listen to the show. And I had a lot of people told me that show was a very big hit. And thanks to the blessings of the Almighty, at that time frame, 8 to 9, that was the show that had maximum ratings. So that show and that station is very close to my heart. And after that, while I was doing this, I was studying, and I still was not happy with my life. So I always used to tell my father this: I want to sing, I want good opportunities to sing. So that's when there's this person called Mr. Shekhar, who runs an event management company. He had come to my station. We were doing an event. He was doing an event, and we were the radio partners. So he came. We were just talking. I told him I sing, and then he called me for a recording, and then he liked it, and he said we're doing a show, a very big show dedicated to R.D. Burman, and he said you have to be the voice of Asha Bhosle. I just used to sing songs, and I never had I'm not a singer. I don't sing Asha Bhosle songs that much. But after he told me that, I was very scared. I told my father, what do I do? And then I sat and learned. He told me all the best songs of hers. I sat and I went for the recording, and then that worked. The producers liked it, and it happened in 2010. I was launched as the voice of Asha Bhosle. That show was a fantastic show. Since then, I was labelled as voice of Asha in Chennai, and so many shows I did. And I was also, I love to conduct events, organize events. So I told Mr. Shekhar that I would want to work with him, and he gave me an opportunity. I worked with that event management company, and the first event that I organized was a very, very big event. It was dedicated to A.R. Rahman. Almost 5,000 people. It happened in YMCA grounds, and all the musicians of Mr. Rahman, all his singers, he was not there because that was the time he won the Oscars, and he was too big to approach, so we didn't even try. But we called his family members, and it was a very big show. I was very blessed to have that as my first show. And then we did several shows. But after I felt for any RJ, doing the breakfast show, which is the prime time in the morning, 7 to 10. That is the thing that they want to do. And I was doing this Hindi show, which was good, but still there was something empty, and I wanted to do this. And that's when I got a call from 94.3 Radio 1. They said, we wanted you to do the breakfast show. So immediately I grabbed that, and I said bye-bye to AHFM. My father knows how bad I felt while leaving AHFM. And one more thing I have to say, this show, the Gaane and Jane that I used to do in AHFM, I must admit, that show was a success because of my father. Because everything, the tagline, the song, every day I used to sit with him on a day-to-day basis and ask him what to play, what song not to play. He used to tell little stories about, because I was not born back then, so he used to tell me all the, and the retro classics was a bit, every Tuesday I used to play golden classics. So that was the biggest hit, so I should thank my dad for it. And he deserves a round of applause. Thanks to him, I became famous.
That is why he was not attending Tuesday meetings.
And in Radio 1 I did this breakfast show, but again my boss from Bombay came once and he said, you were doing a Hindi show, why don't you start doing a Hindi show? Again they pushed me back to Hindi. But this was more challenging because Gaane and Jane was for 1 hour, and this was 9 to 1 every day. So doing a 5-hour show in Hindi was very, very difficult. But yet there was thankfully a recorded show, so I used to go to office in the morning, write my script, talk, record. If there were any errors, I used to edit it, and that show went on quite well. And then my contract got over, so I kept telling my father, Papa, this time I want to do something different, something that I've never done before. And that's when my alma mater called me, MOP Vaishnavla. They had a vacancy to teach. And all in my own department, in the media department. So my principal specially called me and said, because I was a topper in my master's, so she said, we want you to teach. So I immediately, my dad used to teach when he was young, so I don't know how good or bad I was as a teacher, but I enjoyed it. And I'm very close to my students. It was never a teacher-student relationship that I had with them. It was more of a friend-friend relationship, because they were all just 3-4 years younger than me. So they used to talk to me about everything under the sun. I used to talk to them. Even today, I think after 1.5-2 years, they still come to me for recommendations, references. So that was a very nice thing to work in the place where you studied. And after that, I told that one semester got over, and then for anybody being in the media industry, once you're done with radio, the next big step is television. So I always used to tell my father, I want a good job, good offer, and then if I get that, I will immediately grab it. And that's when Sun TV, the biggest, largest network in Asia, I was the youngest. That time I was chosen to head a channel, a kids channel, and it was a Telugu channel. I don't speak Telugu, but I understand Telugu. And luckily I had a team. I had a team here in Chennai that worked under me. I also had a team in Hyderabad that worked under me. But the Hyderabad team, everybody knew Hindi, so I had no problem. So I used to regularly go to Hyderabad and come back. So that was a great experience, because our competitors were channels like Cartoon Network, Disney, very, very big names. So I had to do whatever little I can to make our channel, because this channel that I worked for, Kushi TV, it's a very small name compared to Disney and all the other big names, Nickelodeon. So that was quite interesting, traveling to Hyderabad very often and doing things for kids, going to their level and thinking. That was a nice thing to do. And that is when I got an opportunity to get associated with a band called Vintage. I used to sing, but I was never singing for a band. So this band called Vintage wanted me to be their female vocalist. So about 2.5 years I sang for them. We did a lot of shows. So as a band vocalist, as a manager in Sun TV, I was very, very happy. And then you know what will happen with every girl. My mother and father started. They ordered me to get married. I tried to push as much as I can, but ultimately I had to succumb. That's when Ajay came into my life. So just a few weeks before marriage, I quit my job, because I was 6-7 years almost I was in the industry, so I wanted to know how life is as a sailor's wife, how it is to live on the ship. So I wanted to travel with him, so I've taken a break now. So looking forward to join him sometime in July. After that I want to come back and again take up a career once I get something good. So that is pretty much about me. Coming back to this Annettes Club. I always used to wonder, 2 years back I participated in this Voice of District competition. That was, which club? Chennai Towers. Yeah. So I was just wondering why our club doesn't do something like that, because there are so many. I saw the other day there was some dance competition. There were a lot of youngsters in the club who are very, very talented. What we can do is give them a platform, a nice platform where they can get exposure, where people, not just our club, everybody else in the district get to know that there are such talented youngsters in our club. So we could organize something like that, a music competition, anything, theatre, art, anything. So I would do whatever I can that the club wants, what you want from my side. I can bring in people, and also there being an ardent fan of and lover of music and other forms of art. If anybody, any of the children, any of the Annettes are interested in anything like anchoring, fashion, modeling, VJ, anything, if you want to have a workshop, I can bring in my friends from the industry where they can, have a one-on-one interaction with those people. So I would love to do that, because I feel with the Rotary strength, with the ANDs getting together and Annettes also coming together, we can definitely achieve all the goals that you have. So from my side, I would love to do whatever I can, and or not just me, all of us will definitely. Thanks for this. Thanks for finally coming up with this Annettes Club, and we will all definitely do you proud. Thank you. And Madhu uncle wanted me to sing a song. I'll just finish with this song. The reason I chose this song is it's one of my father's favorite. So he's helped me a lot, so I think this much I should do for him in my career. जब तुमसे नजर ठकराई सनम, जज्बात का एक तूफान उठा, तिनके की तरह मैं बह निकली, तिनके की तरह मैं बह निकली, सैलाब मेरे रोके न रुका, सैलाब मेरे रोके न रुका, जीवन में मची हलचल और बजने लगी शहनाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा, ली प्यार ने अंगड़ाई, दीवाना हुआ बादल, सावन की घटा छाई, ये देख के दिल झूमा, ली प्यार ने अंगड़ाई, दीवाना हुआ बादल. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, Sri Prakash was to tell us.
I'd like to thank Mr. Madhu for that fantastic introduction. It really builds me up to be a bigger person than I really am. So I hope the movie lives up to the trailer. Today's theme is about youth empowerment. So the last time somebody was on television throwing around words like youth and women empowerment, he was completely massacred by a certain Arnab Goswami and went on to lose a national election by a landslide. So esteemed Rotarians, respected Anns, enthusiastic Annettes, and my brother Avinash, without further ado, I will begin my speech. So now you must be wondering what all those jokes were in aid of, because that's exactly what my school had me do for the last 2 years. I served as cultural secretary at my school, but prior to that, my parents had me involved in several other fields such as music and sports. I was trained in tennis and also represented my school in football at the district or state level, while I also maintained a passion for the keyboard and to a certain extent the violin, which both of which I've dropped today because in order to focus on my academic pursuits. The achievements I'm most proud of was that my school sent me for these for a whole spectrum of public speaking events. It had me speaking in podiums like this, be it debates, Model United Nations, or even culturals. and cultures were a whole different ball game, because they were these school-wide events where they had corporate sponsorships, so there was a lot of money and gifts at stake. So that meant all of our students were completely interested in whatever they had us do. And I believe I participated in that with a lot of enthusiasm, because it resulted in my winning an iPad, an achievement I'm most proud of, and an achievement I practice almost on a daily basis. So I will begin with debates. So what debates are like in the school circuit is that they train students to speak with structure in their speeches. So it isn't a free-flowing speech like this one would be, but they time you to something like 8 minutes, and you have to stick to that time limit. And they also have formats and rules, and all this while debating certain vital issues like the role of technology and certain controversial laws and freedom for the people. So all these things are topics that are discussed almost vehemently in these debates, and I'm proud to say that I was involved in the national level of this debating, although those events were held only in Chennai, which made it easier for me to participate in. Now, Model United Nations. Model United Nations are almost exactly like the real UN sessions in terms of the children representing the countries that participate. And what happens is that they have these agendas, and the students can even pass their own mock resolutions. And the first time my school sent me for Model United Nations, I had no idea what I could expect. So my parents made me call different people, and all of them told me just one thing: be yourself. And that's exactly what happened, and I managed, more than anything, it's a social experience, because during the days while you have these grueling sessions, in the night they have these dances and social nights and speeches by successful people in several fields, and that sort of builds you up, that sort of builds you as a person and your character more than in terms of actual awards. And in fact, several of these MUNs don't even give any prizes, but a few of them do, and I happen to have won a few more due to luck than anything else, because the field of competition is really that tough. And when it comes to cultures, it involves spontaneous speaking and humor. So there were several events. There was this event called Jam, where they give you a topic, and it stands for just a minute, and I'm sure many of you might have seen the BBC version of this. So when they give you a topic, you don't really have that much time to prepare. You need to think on your feet and start talking as soon as they've given you the topic. So if they say dogs, then you should be talking about dogs before they even finish the word. So before they pronounce yes, you should have already started talking about dogs and how you love them and how they're the most fantastic pets. So that was a really good experience. And my father at least tells me that I'm sure he's bluffing, that he does that a lot, mind you. So most of these achievements were fabricated by him. So anyway, this sort of thing probably helps you in college interviews and stuff, where they have these group discussions, and even there you don't have time to think, you don't have time to prepare, and even if you don't know certain facts, you just assume that they're true. So for instance, if I tell you that there are 500 million youth in India, you take my word for it, because I'm standing over here and speaking, and you have to listen and you have to believe whatever I tell you. So that's probably some of the things I learned over there. And when it comes to music I really like to listen to, and it's really one of my passions. But I like to listen to music of different genres as well. In fact, I passed 4 grades of the Trinity College exam in keyboard. I think that's a really wonderful initiative, because not only do they make you play the pieces, they also question you about the theory of music, which I think is equally important. In fact, I've performed in a few occasions at this very Rotary Club, the violin Carnatic music that is. But my interest in that particular field wasn't as great. They tell me that a good way to end a speech is by making a joke. So what is the difference between all of you and the Aam Aadmi Party? You have seats. Before I... They have 4. But you guys have more than 4. It appears to be more than 4 at least. Before I conclude, I'd like to thank this club, because I've had several wonderful memories here, going to exotic places in Kerala, and I've had so much fun. I've met several people, one of whom informs me that he's the district Annettes secretary. So I hope I've done him proud by speaking over here. And and I hope I haven't kept you bored, because I know I don't have any interesting anecdotes from the field of radio and television or such wonderful voice as Chandni had. But even then, I hope you've all had your coffee. So, I'm sure all the other speakers will do us proud as well. So I'll hand over the floor to them, I guess. Thank you.
Am I audible enough?
Yeah. Maybe a little louder than that.
Okay, good evening, Rotarians, Ants and Annettes. I'm not much of a talking person. I like listening better. And talking about sailing and how I got into it, I was 9 years old to be specific, and it was just a get together like this. And I was with my dad, and I was meeting new friends, roaming around like a little kid, and then I meet this special person. Everybody was congratulating her and so on. So I go simply talk to her, and she's like, "Hey, kitty," and stuff. And I was like, "Okay, what exactly do you do?" And she showed me photos of these boats, and they looked all fun. So I said, "Okay, cool." And then she said, "You should come sometime." So, and then it was my dad's friend, so I got to see the sailing club, and that's how it all started. So I had this kind of liking towards water sports. So then I was into swimming earlier. I used to swim for fun. So then sailing seemed more fun. I mean, every day is a new day. You see new weather, new clouds, and everything's new. So then started off sailing that way. Then it was more of fun than anything serious like a sport. So then started off with that, and I got into serious training and so on. So first, we don't have proper trainers in India, so we had to go abroad and get trained by more professional people who sail every day. So I was sent to Malaysia by my dad for professional training, and I was there for a month. And yeah, I got trained better there. It was really hard to get used to the food they gave. There are a lot of things you don't like, but it's nothing you can do but eat them. And yeah, so after Malaysia was better training, so we came back and we had a national event just after that, and I could see my progress and went on with that. And then I got into the national squad because sailing wasn't that familiar with everybody, so not many people were into sailing, and there were very few kids who sailed, and it was like max 100 people from whole of India. And it was easy to get to the top then, but as of now, everything's built up, and so many people sailing. There are varieties of boats coming into India, and a lot of people sail now. So it was a lot. And then I got into the national squad. There was more of training and many coaches coming in, teaching us new stuff, and got on to that. And each boat has its age category. So I could sail a boat only till I was 15, and I've achieved like they have these international events every year, and it was my third time at that event, and I finished first, and I got the gold medal, and that was my turnout. And like after that, I sort of had to move out of the boat because it's too big for it, and then I moved into a bigger boat in which I'm still training and going abroad, training in several events, under several coaches, and yeah, it's about sailing for now. And sailing as a sport is not known to many people. They think it's motorized, but it's mainly wind powered. It's only wind powered, and we have this yacht, which is every boat has its own dimensions, and the boat which I sail in is about 5 meters long and has a sail about 7 or 10 feet tall, and it has a sail area of around 5.6 centimeters square. So meters square, sorry. And then it went down to that. So the older you grow, you move to bigger boats. And sailing is not always about kids and athletes. Anybody can sail. People sail for fun. People go out on big voyages and stuff. There's so many people of our own club sailing up to Mahab and then coming back the same day. And thing about sailing is it's not like any other sport. In sailing is not only your mental power and things so on. It's you need to be mentally and physically present there. Anything could go wrong any second, and you have to think for the moment, and it's how you react and how you respond to whatever happens to you. So then got on to that, and when I started sailing, I was not really social and so on. So sailing made me meet a lot of people everywhere, all around the world. I could go for many world championships in my Optimus category. That's the small boat, and that's when I met a lot of people, got a new friend. Got a handful of friends, and it went on and on to that. Now we get to meet up in every major events and so on. So it's good to see all of them move, and then you have friends all around the place. And then was when my dad got into Rotary, and then here again I could meet a lot of people. It was fun. We had trips every year in school, so it was same like sailing. I could go get to see places and meet a lot of new people. So and sailing has done a lot of things to my life. Sailing started off by the medal I won, so that took me to some place in school. I was recognized by people in school, so my teachers had the special attention for me, and so on. So yeah, I did get a lot of jealous reports and stuff. My friends just went on. And then I personally like football and tennis more. I play a lot of football, and I don't think my dad likes that a lot. He likes me focusing on one sport at once. And then went on to that. So when I find time, I hang around with friends, and doesn't really happen always. Went on to that. And sailing now is where I sail because I need to get a good seat in college. I need to find a good college and good education. And after that is just for fun. And sailing, yeah, it's a fun sport. I mean, everybody can sail. It's easy to learn, and it's only when you get competitive and stuff. And about the new Annettes Club started, I don't really have an idea about it, but yeah, I like being part of something like this. It's it's kind of nice to be social, and it's good to meet new people. You get a lot of ideas. You become a better person. You know what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, and so on. So about the Annettes Club, I don't have a vision for it or view as of now, but I'm sure I will go with whatever happens. Or yeah. Thank you.
Good morning, good evening to everyone, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity. So I'm going to share a couple of my Rotary moments. First one, seeing Rotarians spending the time and money for helping others, such as eradication of polio and other social causes. So seeing Rotarians helping others motivates me. So some of the Rotarians and my dad spend like the time on Sundays for attending camps. Seeing the videos may be boring, but still it motivates me. So that then last year in my school, they took us to an orphanage. There were 150 orphans. So I took the lead role. Like I bought grains, entertained them of music and dance, collected the money. So seeing them happy gave me great happiness. Still my teacher didn't recognize me. Yes. Then another moment I would like to mention is the outstation trip to Wayanadu and later to Udayasamutra Resort in Trivandrum. So during the Trivandrum trip, thanks to Ranjit uncle, who gave separate room for Aditya, Vishnu and I to stay together. Because of that, we all became good friends. Like we played video games and we're carefree. So then I'm going to share my interest. So I have a lot of interest like fiddling with electronics, like not playing, like repairing, learning inside parts. So then when my brother's remote control toys get repaired, like I open C and just try to repair it and give it to him, though it doesn't work properly. So I have a lot of interest in football. I play the game at school and I play for my school team. My favorite players are Lionel Messi, Neymar Jr. and Alexis Sanchez, who play for Barcelona, and Edmund Hazard, who plays for Chelsea. I am learning keyboard from a master called Christopher. Now I can play a few songs, and I will be resuming my class from next month. I'm going to share like my ambition. My ambition is to be an electrical and electronical engineer and later focus on aerospace engineering. Like my dream is to design engines for rockets and aeroplanes. I think my dream will come true one day. Like I see Discovery and History Channel and they show how they build engines for air shuttles and rockets. So that motivates me, seeing that NASA program. Still my friends sing like crazy seeing this thing instead of cartoons and other programs. So my Annettes Club. Annettes Club is extraordinary and initiative. I like the club very much. And I would like to have meetings, outdoor and indoor activities. We have some games, excursions, go to movies, cycling and etc. So I would like to conclude with a short story my father usually says. Once there was a farmer who lived in a village. Another day a young farmer joined him. So during the reaping harvest time, they joined together and worked. So at the harvest time, the senior farmer decided to give a lot of grain for the younger farmer as he needs to be encouraged. At the same time, the younger farmer thought that he should give a lot to the senior farmer as it's his farm and he needs some support. At the end of the day of the harvest time, like the senior farmer found like he had a house full of grains and the younger farmer also had a house full of grains. Still there were lots of grains left in the farm. So the senior farmer said that he kept a lot of grain for the younger farmer and the younger farmer said that he left a lot of grain for the senior farmer. So they understood that when they work with a good intention, the cost multiplies. Same like that, I wish the Rotary Club and Annettes Club work together and the noble cause multiplies.